Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts. And so this is Crypto Corner Sat Stacker for Saturday, August 2nd. And I'm going to be going over the charts of actually 20 different cryptocurrencies. In this week's video, I did add the coin to the thumbnail. So let me know if you can guess what that one is, but I will be going over it. But yeah, anyways, the theme for this video, for this week's video, is probably going to have to be Ethereum's birthday, which was July 30th. Ethereum turned 10 years old. And, we do have a little Beeple tweet here to celebrate that. Believe in somETHing. And there's Vitalik, the Ethereum symbol, and a little birthday cake there with a unicorn. And we're going to dive into Ethereum, of course, but really just the thesis here generally for Crypto Corner Sat Stacker is based on recognizing that Ethereum might have bottomed around Easter at around $1,400, and that I do think that, it could be heading up to around $8,000 by the end of the year. In this chart, I did include in this Happy Easter video that came out on Easter on 4/20 of this year. Here is the URL to that video. I will also include a link to it in the description of this video, and also will include a link to the most recent Crypto Corner Sat Stacker, where I basically went over, my thesis up here in kind of some detail, just risk management, stuff like that. But I'm not going to dive into that into this video, just because it takes too much time and it doesn't really change. That's just my thesis for this year, and I will be doing these videos every Saturday for the rest of 2025, being long Ethereum and a number of other alts. And so something that I did want to talk about, kind of related to the tweet over here and also relating to Ethereum's birthday, one of those things is, which is covered in this video here. This is from Altcoin Daily. I will include a link to this video in the description of this video. And that is just basically going over, of course, Michael Saylor is bullish on Bitcoin and crypto in general, as well as Cathie Wood. But then we also have Tom Lee, who has been very outspoken more recently about how bullish he is on Ethereum. And so, that's just some, maybe it's hopium, but maybe it's, time frame perspective. But I think that there's just a lot of really bullish outlooks right now, as we are seeing kind of this chaotic dip. And so maybe it's a great opportunity, maybe it's not. And speaking of that dip, I do have this post over here from Eric Trump, posted earlier today at 4:20 a.m., but that is my time zone. So maybe it's not posted at that time, your time zone. But yeah, 4:20 in the morning. Let me say it again, buy the dips, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and this is referencing back to February of 2025. And actually on my Ethereum chart, I don't have it up here in this screenshot, but I did have an Eric Trump tweet talking about buying the Ethereum dip. That was, I believe, in late April. So that really was kind of a signal to me that, hey, the bottom might be in. And then we also have Nick from Coin Bureau saying, my last $50 with another market dip that we're seeing right now. So yeah, I think now is kind of the time to be, spread a little thin, brace in for where the bottom might settle out at, but trying to take advantage of it as best we can, at that last $50. Let's not, think about what happened to Tom Hanks's character at the end of that movie, though. But anyways, let's get into the data over here. I will be populating this spreadsheet. These are all the different coins that I will be going over. One of them I don't hold, which is Fartcoin. Maybe we get to the dip buy level this upcoming week that I missed before. I just got a little bit scared, and that was at 80 cents. And then I did add to the list PENGU, which is actually not here, so I'll have to add that for next week. And really just thinking that PENGU, Pudgy Penguins, very good marketing, creating a brand from a cryptocurrency that was originally launched on Ethereum with not ETFs, NFTs, and then now they have a coin on Solana. And so I started to accumulate some of that. I will get into it, but yeah, I'm just going to go down through the order of the list. And one thing that's, maybe kind of encouraging about this, that you can see a lot of green here, meaning I did do a lot of buys aside from my normal daily DCAs up here. I bought every single dip except for one, which was Litecoin. And right before starting to make this video, if I would have made it earlier in the morning, I would have not bought the dip on XRP. So that just got filled this morning. And so I actually think, it's like I feel like I'm spread a little bit thin. I just got that $50 left remaining. It's tough to be trying to take advantage of this dip when all the capital has been deployed, But I do think it is encouraging that from the analysis I do in these videos, these levels were not all hit. Like on Sunday at the start of, the day after putting out the video, some of them were hit just hours before putting out this video. So that makes me think that the analysis that I'm doing is pretty good, but we might still see some more opportunities. And, maybe this Litecoin level, $100 will be hit, but it has not yet. So yeah, I think that this is just, this is encouraging for me. I'm trying to keep my chin up, so let's have a good week. And with that being said, let's dive into the first ticker on the list, which is, of course, going to be Bitcoin. And that is ticker symbol BTC, as we all know. I'm just going to populate that market cap data by coming over here to coin market cap. Bitcoin is the number one crypto, as I'm sure we all know. Just going to copy this number and bring it over here to populate this. And looks like it did come down over the past week. That should be no surprise to anyone. And then so Bitcoin's closing price from yesterday, August 1st, was at 113,248.73. 113,248.73. And we can see that, while it did come down, price and market cap, we can actually look just to compare from last week. Market cap currently 2.2. Last week it was at 2.35, now at 2.25. So trillion dollar market cap. And so it did come down to my level of 114. So I did add, which 2 weeks had gone by, $20 remainder every week. And so that $40 order was filled yesterday. My average looks like it's currently at right around 92,000, and I am currently up about 23% on that position. So last week, let's see, I was up almost 30%. Now I am up 23%. So, still doing good with the Bitcoin, still feeling good about that. But let's think about, where could it be dipping to? Where might be the next level down that it could go to? So here I have 114 marked. Clearly we are below it, currently trading sub 113. So let's just take a look here. We got this Fibonacci retracement, and that is going from, the low here that was hit on June 22nd up to the high hit on July 14th. And so we can see that we are currently testing the 382, and that does also correspond with, this orange uptrend that has really, gone back pretty far in time. Maybe I should adjust this to the log scale or something because I'm looking at this in the macro time frame. But just looking at this in the linear, that orange line did act as resistance over here multiple times in 2021. And then at the end of I guess this is the beginning of, end of 2024, beginning of 2025. The orange line as well as the red line acted as resistance. And so let's just see, zooming in on the chart here. Sorry about all this. Let's just get in on that. It looks like we've, broken below that red line. We're testing that orange line. Maybe it holds as support. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we break lower. So I could see Bitcoin potentially coming down to the 50% retracement, that green line, which is going to be around 110,786, or really, let's say, just sub 111. And that also, I was thinking 110, maybe it would be going to 110, but maybe an order wouldn't be getting filled there. So maybe bump that up to 111 just to get the fill because of the spread. The spread can be, preventing orders from getting filled. But also, we do have this kind of like downtrend over here. If I do extend that forward a little bit in time, that does seem to kind of correspond with the 786 retracement, and that would be around 104. So maybe 104 could be tested, and that would again also be, above 100, which would be like a psychological level. Everybody would be waiting for that dip to get hit, their limit orders to get filled. Maybe they'd be getting left behind. So, but that might be months away, or maybe, by the end of August. So in the span of now to next Saturday, maybe 111 is the level to consider dip buy. We also do have like the tops over here from the middle of June. And I feel like there was another pivot over here. They're just, the highs over here from December and January, they pierced to, 106, 107, almost getting to 108 here. It looks like around 109. And so, if those levels do act as support, approximately, then maybe I would think 111 would definitely get filled and then could kind of reassess around there if that is the bottom. So I'm going to say 111 is going to be the dip buy for this. And I think, let's see, I'm just going to check the calendar on my phone just to make sure I'm not wrong. Yep, adding 7 to 2, that would make next Saturday the 9th. And so Bitcoin, the add level is going to be 111,000. And so that is, I need to make that yellow, and I need to make this yellow here. So I know to place that order. That would just be a $20 remainder from my daily Bitcoin buys over the course of the week. And then let's see, the trim level here, 135. Do I still think that, or do I think that it could be, not going up that high? And let's see, I'm probably just going to, remove that doodle that I have there, because, we'll see where the price goes, and that doodle kind of does get a little bit cluttered around where the current price is at and stuff, or, around here. I don't need all of that noise. It does look like it's playing out. It just took longer than I expected. And, well, actually, maybe I could just do something like this. No, I don't know. It's cheating if I move it. I was thinking, well, I could just move it over here. And that's kind of, what I think is going to be happening. Yeah, I'm saying that it's cheating by moving it. Maybe I just... No, I talk about it. I don't need to have so many doodles. But that's what I think is going to happen, potentially. Maybe it goes a little bit lower, though, like that. Maybe it goes even lower like that. I don't know. But don't need the clutter. And I guess also we don't need this green line here because we did wick below that. We are, sweeping the lows over here. So that's liquidating people who are overly leveraged long. But yeah, let's take a look at, what this fib retracement is based on, or fib extension, I should say. Sorry about that. So that's probably going to the lows from, okay, wait, no. So yeah, let's see, this is, where are the dots? Okay, so I think I need to auto fit this, but then just pull that down a little bit there. Okay. So yeah, so it's going from the lows of April 7th up to the highs over here, and then back down to this low. Yep. Oh crap, I didn't want to do that. And so yeah, 135, I still think that, but let's, maybe just for fun, maybe I won't leave it up. Let's do another Fibonacci extension. But, just doing this kind of like a little bit more micro. So going from the low here, hit on June 22nd, up to the high here, hit on July 14th. And then let's say we do pull back to that 50%, right around 111. And that coincides very nicely with 135. So yeah, I'm actually going to leave that up. I think that that makes sense. Some confluence there. Both of those are the 100% extension. So that's, the way that you can draw it. Actually, yeah. So different ways you can draw it. I am going to, actually what I could do just to make it, because it'll put the arrow on it and it'll be a little bit, so just basically going from here, the low here, up to there. So you got that arrow. And then I can just move that arrow to like right here. And so that's what I think is going to happen. That is that Fibonacci extension, that 100%. So the distance from here to the top, coming down from the pullback up to the top, 135. So I'm feeling good about that. I still think that that is a fine trim level, although it's red. I don't plan on trimming there. I don't plan on trimming my Bitcoin, but maybe there would be something that would kind of trigger me to want to trim, but I'm not going to do it, and I'm just going to leave it there, leave it at that before we move on to the next one, which is going to be Ethereum, ticker symbol ETH. And let's check out the market cap for Ethereum, the number 2 crypto. Looks like it's about 420 billion almost market cap. Put that in there. And we can see that did go down over the past week. But let's also look at the closing price from yesterday, August 1st, which was at 3486.39. So 3486.39. And we can see there, of course, that also came down. And so just for a quick comparison with last week, 418, it was at 451, and then 3.7 thousand price. It's now 3.5, about crazy, 3.5 thousand. And so last week, again, another comparison. Oops, the wrong one. Up again, wrong one. Last week, I was up 65% on my Ethereum position. Now I'm up only 52%, so a little bit anxious with that. Not really. But yeah, I do have, the add and or trim levels marked here, but we can look at the chart to see, do I still think that 3,200 could be getting hit, which I do not plan on buying the dip on because, my average is there. I don't want to be so aggressively getting my averages up. Although I do think, Ethereum is going to be going higher. Maybe that's something I want to consider, but just doing the daily DCA, I think that's enough. It's, don't need to worry. Don't need to stress. So anyways, 3,200. Let's go over here. Again, another doodle. I'm going to just delete that. We don't need it. But what we can look at is this Fibonacci Fibonacci retracement going from the low, June 22nd over here. And then I'm just going to, extend this forward to the future a little bit and then extend it up a little bit since we did have, this wick high on Monday, July 28th. We hit a high of $3,941.86. And now let's see, pulling back to, let's see the 382. That is going to be around $3,245.65. So then rounding up from there would be around 3,300. But I don't want to be too aggressive with it. So I'm just going to leave 3,200. Maybe just to have some fun with it, maybe I want to do a little dip buy there because that would be like, I don't really think 3,200 is going to get hit. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's Eric Trump's tweet that for some reason, there we go. Kept getting cut off, but in my opinion, it's a great time to add Ethereum. That was February 3rd, and he's basically, retweeted that today. So good time to buy this dip, basically. But, it could last months. So do be prepared for that. Do plan for that. So, yeah, the daily, let's see, 3,200. I think that's fine. I think that what I might do though, just, I don't need to go so aggressive or anything. Like 40 bucks, that's a lot. 20 bucks, that's a lot. But maybe what I could do is just, let's see, a $7 dip buy, with that, or maybe I could do 50, like the meme from Nick. But I'm just going to do a $7 if there's room for it. I don't know if there's going to be room for these decimals. Oh, and actually I forgot to do this with Bitcoin. I need to change this to 20. And I will do decimals because I can fit them, I believe. Yes. And I will make that yellow. I need to place that order. That's what that means. And the 7, again, I need to place that order. So I might as well take advantage of the dips. And so let's see. With the weeklies over here, I don't necessarily expect that to get filled. And that's why I'm going to place it just to, try and take advantage. I'm just going to copy these, paste them down. But now let's also consider the upside. Where do I think Ethereum could potentially be stopping at? And so, where did I get that 4,500 from? Let's just, that's going to be a new all-time. Oh, it's not a new all-time high. I was thinking it's going to be a new all-time high, but nope. So that is going to be, kind of just want to move this over. There we go. And but I think it's good to have that as a reminder. The thesis is really all around Ethereum. But yeah, let's look at this Fibonacci extensions. This is the 1618 getting up to around 4,500, and so that is based on the pullback from the low. Actually, do I have that drawn correctly? Yep. Okay. So the low from, I believe this is April 9th. I was going to say August, April 9th. And, then going up to the high here and then pulling back to this low. So yeah, I still think that's valid. I do have this one here, which I don't know. Do I need to have that there? I don't think so. That's the 1618. We consolidate around there. I can delete that one just to clean this up a little bit. But what I can do, since we have this move here and pull back, which is how we got to, 3,600, low of April 9th, up to the high here on June 11th, and then the pullback to the low of June 22nd. So that's how we got this level, the 100% extension there. And so that would also include, this. And actually, maybe I want to, just pull this back. So I'm trying to avoid the clutter, but still leaving that level up there. And so that's, right around there. And so that's just kind of, from the past, it's like legacy. Okay, something for me to consider. But then I can add, let's see, I can add a few on here. Crap, I need to zoom in a little bit more controlled. Okay, so what we have is this. I could do one that's, full from here to this, but, either way, that's just going to be kind of, hand wavy and stuff. So I'm probably just going to do a shorter time frame extension going from the low that was hit on June 22nd up to the high that was hit on July 28th. And then now let's say if we do pull back to, let's see, 382, which would be around 3,200, a little bit above 3,200. So now we can see where is the 100% extension on that. And so that looks like it's around 5,000. Crap. So, but before getting to 5,000, we do see that 1618 extension from the earlier Fibonacci extension. That's around 4,500. So I would leave 4,500 untouched. So I'm going to leave that there. I don't need to do anything with that. So I feel good about that, but I don't plan on trimming for either of those, Bitcoin or Ethereum. Those are the longer term ones for me, at least until the end of the year. But, Bitcoin's probably for retirement, as that's kind of my thesis. But anyways, with that being said, let's now go on to the next one, which is going to be Dogecoin, ticker symbol DOGE. And let's check out the market cap for Doge, ranked number 9 over here, market cap of 29 billion. And so I'll just populate that over here. And of course, it came down over the past week. And then we can go over here to look at Doge. But we want to look at it in US dollars on Binance, to look at the chart over here to get an idea of, the number, the range that it's kind of trading in right now. So the close from yesterday, August 1st, was at 2018. So type that, 2018 right there. And so we can see that it came down last week, both in market cap and in price. So 29 and 20. I always do that. So Doge, let's see, was 35.8 and 20, almost 4. So it has come down, a decent amount. I am still up, though. I am up 16% with an average at 17.44 cents. I was planning on just doing, let's see, a $7 dip buy, which the level was at 21 cents. Clearly, we did get below that. But I did also do another $25. And the only reason why I did another $25 was because I did buy RLC iExec, which I kind of regret, at least where I bought it at. I could have bought it a little bit cheaper, but I did add. And that then put the risk that I have, my exposure to RLC, at more than Dogecoin. So then I just added $25 to Dogecoin to then, take advantage, or not to take advantage, but to keep Doge above RLC if I do buy RLC. Again, I did buy RLC, so I wanted to keep Doge above. And so now I'm kind of thinking, if I am to do a dip buy on Dogecoin, it shouldn't just be $7, because I would then, just do $7. And then if I'm dip buying RLC, then RLC would get bumped above Doge. And then I have to do like a $93 buy of Doge. And so actually, maybe that's kind of a good strategy, because then I could use, if the dip buy on Doge gets filled for $7, then I would know, okay, well, the Doge order got filled, then maybe I should buy some RLC. And then I can then do $93 of Doge. And so I need to do a $7 order there. I need to color that yellow because I haven't placed it yet. And I need to kind of consider, the level that I would want to buy at. And in all honesty, what I think I need to be doing, at least right now, until, the next paycheck, basically, which is 2 weeks from now. I was stupid. I didn't transfer check until too late yesterday, and now it's not going to be in my account until Monday. Stupid. But anyways, I feel like I'm spread a little bit thin, basically. So I don't want to be super, super aggressive. So I think $7 limit dip buy. And I don't need to be scooping up more of RLC because it's super speculative. So I'll wait for Doge to kind of trigger that. And so I'm not talking about RLC, though. I'm talking about Doge. So it's 21 cents from last week. But let's consider what that should be now. I think it should be below 1744. So let's look at the chart to kind of see, where could that be going to? So we do have this Fibonacci retracement here, but I need to adjust that. It was going up to the high here, but now we did hit a higher high on Monday, July 21st, which I think I should have adjusted this last week, but I guess I didn't. But anyways, let's see. I'm just going to make sure this is, I need to adjust this higher. So getting that up to the high there, that would be saying, currently around the 618, around 20 cents, 1986, currently trading at 1957, just below there, just below that 618. So I would say the 786 down here at 1742, corresponding with the tops over here, could be some very nice support there. Also, could be corresponding with this little trend line that I have over here. That would be like by the end of August over here. That's around 16 cents. But, maybe we don't get there. Maybe I'm being too, rigid, too conservative with this and, wanting to wait for a lower low over here than, what would be at the 786. But anyways, that's at 1742. Maybe what I want to do, just to be super precise about this, which is really not that important, but, the low from June 22nd was 1430. So I'm going to adjust this to be 1430, being precise. And then the high over here was 2882. 2882. And so that's good. I'm going to lock that in place because I did pinpoint it there. And so that's saying, 1741 is a 786. And so with my average being, 1744, it would have been nice to wait for a deeper dip. Oops. Over here. But what I think I should do is, 1741. Just wait for it. 1741. And maybe that doesn't get hit, and that is fine. Okay, so 1741. I'm going to be disciplined with that. And it's only going to be a $7 order. And so, I can leave that there. Alerts and orders need to be adjusted for that one. Although I do need to check the trim level at 31 cents. Is that to be adjusted? I'm going to also delete this doodle here. And we note also we did break below that 200-day moving average. I haven't talked about it with ETH or with Bitcoin. Actually, just looking at Bitcoin real quick. The 200-day moving average for Bitcoin is around 100,000. But yeah, with Doge over here, the 200-day moving average is around 2117 right now. But yeah, where could it be going to the upside? I have 27 marked here. What did I say? 31 cents. Okay, so 27. We did top there. I think I trimmed there. And then the next one will be like 35 cents here. No, 31. I've got that green line going across there. So yeah, I don't need to draw anything, doing anything fancy for that. And this fib extension, that's still going to be valid. Ooh, actually no, because we did hit a higher high over here. And so I should probably, just kind of cut this off right here. And, so going from the low to the high, back to this low, got that 100%. So that's good. Okay. So that was at 27 about. The next one's up going to be about 31 based on this being consolidation here. That being prior support would then be flipped to resistance around 31 cents. So I think that's a good one. I do need to place a trim order at 31 cents. Actually, no, I probably have that placed already. So I'll leave that, but I guess I will check it. But no, I'm not adjusting it, so I shouldn't have to change it. I have been trying to keep on top of, keeping those orders there. But yeah, $7 dip buy. Okay. And then so now on to the next one, which is going to be iExec, ticker symbol RLC. Super speculative, as I'm sure you will see based on the market cap. It is super low, ranked 461 over here, $66 million market cap. I'm kind of ashamed to hold it and to hold so much of it. But it is what it is, and I don't think that the cycle is over yet. So I do think that there will be a massive alt season rally, and I will be able to at least break even with my average being at a price of $1.68. But yeah, let's check out the current price of RLC, which is going to be here, US dollars on Coinbase. And let's see the current price, or the closing price, I should say, from Friday, August 1st, was at 93.12. 93.12. All right, and so of course that did come down. I'm down 44% last week. You know, I was up or down 37%, and my average was 172. Now my average is, you know, 168, so I did get it down a little bit. I did buy at 106 or right around there. I think actually maybe I got around 105. I was waiting a little bit after the LRC order went through. Then I waited, did RLC. Then I waited and did Ondo. I could have gotten much cheaper. So this is, you know, making me think that I should probably jump on this. But, you know, from the $100 addition that I did over the past week, how did I change my average? I'm at 168 now. Last week I was at 172, so I dropped it by 4 cents. Not really that much. Maybe I bring it down like 5 cents. This would come down to like below 160s, 163, let's say. I don't know. Maybe that's, but then I'd have to do, you know, Doge to get it higher. So I think I should probably wait. I should probably lay off, but maybe not. Maybe I'm going to change my mind in going over the chart and stuff. So that's something that I'm going to have to do, because I think I want to wait for this to be based on the Doge limit order being filled, and then I would buy RLC. But it's just tough. You know, it's so tough to like still have the confidence. Like, it's like, am I wrong? Things are dipping. Am I wrong? Or is this just another discount, a dip buying opportunity that I should be taking advantage of? And I think that's probably going to be the case. Just like what Eric Trump said multiple times, whether he was early, whether he's late, whether he's right, whether he's wrong. Here we can see with RLC, did get rejected from that 200-day moving average. And I actually did post a tweet around this time, just like, well, you know, RLC's performed pretty nicely over the past couple weeks. But, you know, now pulling back. Where do we pull back to? So here, Fibonacci retracement, that does look like I had lined up here. We are at the 786, around 90 cents. Currently at 90.55. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of think that I'd be stupid for not, you know, taking advantage of this dip. There isn't a trend line that I can really draw here, but that's a 786 pullback. Maybe where they're, yeah, I mean, just like over here. I was accumulating over here. Why would I not accumulate more over here, especially if I just bought last week? So, yeah, I mean, I think that, man, let's see. Okay, so this volume's coming down, and it starts to go up. This volume coming down starts to go up. So maybe the bottom's not in just yet. So I would think I did buy last week. So, I mean, I've got to find the balance, you know. I'd probably buy RLC after I've done Ondo and LRC, so Loopring, maybe that's something I need to consider. But 90 cents, that's the level based on this. I mean, what did I have last week? 106. We've broken below $1, so that would be the next level. Also corresponding with, you know, the lows over here, so we're in like discount zone. And below the this yellow line here, which is at 95, 96, corresponding with some like historical lows over here, we're in the discount zone. Why would I not be accumulating more? This is the time to do it. So yeah, I mean, I think that I need to take advantage of RLC at 90 cents. That's the level. And I'm just trying to see, do we have no bullish divergence? Because we have higher lows here, higher lows in the RSI. So that's not what I'm not seeing anything there. So, you know, maybe this spends a couple weeks down here. Maybe it does come down to like 80 cents, that green line. But like the low over here, June 22nd, was 77.91 cents. We want to be staying above that to be maintaining higher lows. We have broken below this uptrend. But yeah, I mean, the 786, that's a retracement. So if I added last week at 105 or whatever, I should add again at 90. So yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I think I have to. Otherwise, you know, and I can do alerts. I just realized through Coinbase, I can place some alerts. So I will need to do something like that. But yeah, now let's consider what the trim level would be. Probably still 230. Because I think that's kind of like an old historical, Fibonacci extension. So that's going from the low of August 2024 up to the high of December 2024, and then down to this low over here of June 22nd. Yep. And so that 786, so not even getting up to the 100%. That's at 230. And so yeah, 230. That's fine. I don't need to, I need to keep it yellow because I can't place a limit order to sell there. Or I could, but I keep the RLC stored off exchange. But yeah, those are the levels. I unfortunately need to do this. And with that being said, I'm going to need to buy. I'm going to need to do 100 for, let's see, I'm going to color this yellow. I'm going to need to do 100 for Doge. And I'm just going to do it with, where am I going? The weeklies. I'm going to say the ad is RLC buy. If I buy RLC, then I got to do it. That's it. Because I want to maintain more risk exposure to Doge than RLC, even though they're both effectively the same. None of these have changed because I bought the dip on all of them, and miraculously Litecoin didn't move up or down with me not buying it. But yeah, so I think I need to do this. I'll kind of consider. I'll take a step back and look. Man, I think yeah. It all depends on the perspective and time frame, Anyways, the next one on the list is going to be Ethereum Classic, ticker symbol ETC. And let's check out the market cap for Ethereum Classic. It's going to be higher up. I think it's around 20 something, or I forget, 33. Ethereum Classic, just over 3 billion, depending on when I copy it. And did come down. And let's check out the chart over here, Ethereum Classic, USD on Coinbase. So the closing price from yesterday, August 1st, was 1977. 1977. And, let's see, what was my level? 21. So now we're below that. And my average, I'm down 9%. I think last week, I'm not going to go back and forth to these all the time, but, was 3.4, 3.5, 22, definitely down. I was up 5% last week. Now I'm down. Only down 9% though. But yeah, what's the, dip buy level that I should do for Ethereum Classic? And so we're going to have to look at the chart for that, but I will just come over here. So I said 21 last week. It's coming over to the chart here. Got this Fibonacci retracement that does look like, going from that low of April 7th up to the high here. So you can see that dot's lined up right around there. And so we're pulling back to the 200-day. 200-day moving average is exactly at 19. You can see that over here. Pretty crazy. It's exactly at 19. I think that's kind of a sign, that 19 cents. Maybe it goes a little bit below the 50% retracement, which is around 1932. And, I'm not being super aggressive buying. Maybe I should wait for. And maybe I should wait for. Maybe I should do it at 18 because the 618 is at 17.76 cents, right? Just below 18. And, just like this broke above the 200-day and then is pulling back, maybe we break below, fake out breakdown, down to like 18, and then it goes higher. So yeah, I think that's a nice way to like not be super aggressive with it if I need to kind of chill a little bit. So 18, I could see that wicks below the 200-day to buy the dip, BTFD. And yeah, so I'm going to say 18. That's yellow. I need to adjust the alerts and the orders. And so what's the trim level? 28 is what I had. Oh, and this trim, yeah, I just need to like be paying attention to that. That's why that's yellow. But really I just need to place an alert. So I'm actually going to make that, because I need to, actually, no, I haven't placed it yet. So sorry, I'm going back and forth. But yeah, I need to place that alert order, whereas these, I haven't changed them. So, okay, etc. Ethereum Classic, 28. Where do we hit the high? The high that we hit was on July 19th. That was at a price of $25.95. I think maybe I had a sell at 25. I'm not exactly sure. 28 is the, I'm going to need to be a little bit more aggressive with my trims. So you can see the dots there, for that extension. We do have the 100% here. And then there's the 1618. So maybe what I want to do, since we did get up there, I just want to pull this back. That did get hit. And maybe now what I want to do is do another Fibonacci extension. Going from the low here to the high here. And then maybe I just pull back to start. Well, more conservative would be going lower because the Fibonacci extension is this distance from here to here. So it's like, as you see, the lower this goes, the lower the target is. So this is actually being more conservative if I suggest that it's coming down to the 618 at around 18 cents. So let's just pull it down to there, see where that's at. That's around 30. But then this is at 28. So I think that's, kind of splitting the difference. I think that's fine. I think it's reasonable. 28 cents, $28. So I'll just leave that there. That alert or that order should be placed so I don't have to adjust that. But then now let's, come back to the list over here to check out the next one, which is going to be Ondo, ticker symbol ONDO. And we can check out the market cap, ranked number 37, just below Ethereum Classic on my list here at $2.7 trillion, billion dollars, if that copied correctly. So they're all kind of like abstract numbers to me. So sometimes I mix up trillion and billion. But yeah, $2.772 billion market cap. And then if we look at the price for Ondo, for the closing price from Friday, didn't follow this doodle that I have there. The closing price on Friday was 88,958. So 88,958. There we go. Looks like I'm, at break even. Oh, and one thing that I need to do, Ethereum Classic. There we go. I need to place that order. Okay, so 89 cents. I did increase my average from last week. Unfortunately, I was at 88 cents. I did buy some at, I believe it was like 95 or 96 cents. I should have waited to get it a little bit lower, below my average. And so with that being said, maybe I want to be a little bit more conservative with this dip buy. And yeah, so Ondo, 98 cents. Let's just look over here. 98 cents. Where could I see this pulling back to on the chart? So from this Fibonacci retracement, we do have the 618 at like 83 and some fractions of pennies, 83 cents. So maybe round that up to 84. That would be a level to, maybe go in on this. Yeah, so 84 cents I think seems reasonable. Although, maybe this is bouncing around where it's at. But, you know, I was too aggressive last week. I should have chilled, so I'll wait for 84 cents. So 84, it's at 87.6 right now. So yeah, 84, I'm just going to wait for it. 84, got to be disciplined. And where would the trim be? I've got to delete this doodle. Unfortunately, I was wrong. And so here, got this Fibonacci extension going from, you know, the low here, high down to the low. That 1618, I mean, I got the trim here at 109. I nailed that, man. I should have trimmed there. I didn't. Stupid me. That was, I mean, that's this, you know, doing these videos, it forces me to kind of like be accountable. I didn't sell then. I didn't trim then. It would have been great because then buying the dip at like 10 whatever, increasing my average, or 98, 96 cents, whatever, increasing my average, not a big deal if I had trimmed there. But I didn't trim there. I need to trim. I need to be more responsible with these levels. I had multiple opportunities to trim there at 109. I didn't do it. But then so, you know, what's the next level? And so maybe it's 140. What do I have marked here? Like 138? Yeah, 138. Yeah, that works. But maybe what I want to do is just a different Fibonacci retracement from the low over here to this high. And let's say we pull back to the 618. Yeah, I mean, 138, I think it's fine. I think I should trim there, though. I think I should trim, especially if I do add more. So I don't need to have that highlighted. Ooh, actually, I do because I haven't placed the alert, which I can do in Coinbase. So I'll just have that there. And yeah, those are the two levels, 84 and 138. And, you know, I will consider this, but again, you know, I'm going to make this orange. I may not do that. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself for not waiting to lower my average, or at least to just get at my average, but whatever. Yep. The next one on the list is going to be Loopring, ticker symbol LRC. Let's check out the market cap for LRC. It's going to be second to the bottom here at 333, $107 million market cap. Very small ones. This is kind of a risky one. Did come down just out of curiosity. What was it last week? 126. Now it's at 108. Okay. And the price for LRC, US dollar on Coinbase. The closing price from yesterday, and this does look like, you know, maybe it's coming into some support, so maybe I should just pounce on this one. I don't really know. But the, let's see, the closing price from Friday, August 1st was at 7.96 cents. 96 cents, okay, down 28%. Last week I was down 22%. And my dip buy level was 9 cents. Now we're down at 8 cents. If I did buy last week, I should probably buy this week, in all honesty. So, you know, I've got to think about now, what's the level that I would buy at? I had it at 11 cents before. Or no, my average is 11 cents. I would be getting my average down. My dip buy level was 9 cents. I did buy a little bit below 9 cents, I believe. But yeah, let's check out over here. So 9 cents there. I think right around 8 cents. That's corresponding with this horizontal line that I have drawn there based on the, you know, consolidation lows from April of earlier this year. We did break below. Maybe this is a spring. People are losing conviction. And then we did get rejected from that 200-day moving average, pulling back to everybody expecting this to come down to, just making sure that's lined up with the top there, coming down to the 786, around 7.58 cents. We hit a low yesterday of 7.72 cents, so maybe it's just a tease. Maybe we don't actually get down to that 786. So yeah, I mean, I think that 8 cents is, you know, a level to buy, a level to add. And so I'm going to do that here. And after I, record this, post it, I'm probably going to be just, buying some LRC around 8 cents. And, I'm just going to move this down here. And let's see. What's the trim level then? What's the trim level? Where do I have that? 15 cents up here. And that is based on the 1618. Also corresponding with, the 200-day moving average really like consolidating around there. So I really do like that level. I think that's a good one. 15 cents. And then let's see, maybe, we get something from the low here to the high here, point down. I don't know, maybe be around 12. I'm not sure. But yeah, 15 cents. That's not super crazy or anything. That would be a gain for me, so I would be able to start trimming there. So I think that's a fine one for me to leave, fine level for me there, 15 cents. But I think that I should be taking advantage of the dip so I can continue to get my average down. It's, a larger position, larger than these, very speculative, very risky, but, it's not going to be the end of the world if it does go to zero. I don't really care at this point, so it's fine. But yeah, let's now look at the next one, which is going to be Solana, ticker symbol SOL. The market cap for Solana is going to be like number 6 or number 4. Nope, 6. Is 87 billion. So let's copy that over. And we can see, of course, it went down over the course of the past week. Really not that interesting at this point. So you can just come over here to look at SOL futures. No. And what I want to look at is SOL US dollar Coinbase. And so we can see, hey, man, that doodle's kind of playing out, but it didn't get the pump there. But I don't need that doodle. Don't need the clutter. Did get rescued by the 200-day moving average, so I think that's pretty interesting. The closing price from yesterday was 162.66. So 162.66. Looks like I'm still up, though. Up by 9%, so feeling good about that. My dip buy level was 163, so we're right around there. I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling good about my analysis. That gives me, some of these other ones, I feel like I need to get those averages down because I think that they could really move a lot higher. And I want to make money on them, Whereas Solana, I think so as well. But, I could be a little bit more calculated. These ones down here where it's just like routine $7 dip buys or whatever, I can be a little bit more calm about the dips. And so this one's going to be 7. I'm just going to make it yellow because I am going to need to place a dip buy on that. And that's, let's see, I had the Solana level at 163. We're going to need to adjust that, though. If it does go lower, where do I think it could be going to? So I do have this fib retracement here, which I do need to adjust because we did go a little bit higher. And so that's going to be going up to here approximately. We are approximately at the 382, around 164, breaking below it a little bit. We do have this downtrend here. That red line, that's right around, currently it'd be about like 158, maybe go a little bit lower. But like 151 is that next level down. The 50% retracement also corresponding with a good amount of consolidation here. So maybe there is still some further downside for Solana at like 151. So that's the level that looks good to me, I would say. Let's say 151, so I will add that here. Make that yellow because I need to place that order. And make these yellows because I need to replace them as well. And let's see. Solana 217. Do I still think that for the upside? And so this is based on Fibonacci extension from here. Low, high, pullback. 217. That hasn't been hit yet. So yeah, I still think that's a level that we could be seeing some rejection at, and even if I trim a little bit, not a big deal. Maybe we really start to squeeze, it starts to go up, and then I could trim more aggressively, maybe at 263. But yeah, 217, I think that's fine. I can just leave that alone. No big deal there. And now let's look at the next one on the list, which is going to be Litecoin. And let's see what the market cap is for Litecoin. Litecoin is behind Ed, right above his head now. It's ranked number 21 at $8.1 billion market cap. And, move that over so we can populate the closing price from Friday, August 1st. I'm looking at Litecoin. So Litecoin market cap. Nope, I want Litecoin US dollar on Coinbase. So right there. And so the closing price from yesterday, the closing price, let's see, was 106.57. 106.57. And my dip buy level, which was not hit, was $100. And so we can actually see the low from yesterday was 103.09. Maybe we do pull back to, let's see, still got that Fibonacci retracement, still corresponding with the highs over here. Maybe we do pull back to, 200-day moving average is at 98. So maybe we do pull back to 100. So I can just leave that dip buy. I don't need to add it or anything. It's already placed. $100 dip buy. And so for the weeklies, I can just leave that. But maybe I want to adjust the 133 to the upside. That was not hit, although I think I did trim recently at 119. 133, that makes sense with like these tops, the consolidation there. So I think that's fine. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Litecoin, add potentially at 100, trim potentially at 133. And so all that's placed, so I don't have to do anything with that one. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, let's look at the next one on the list, which is going to be Cardano, ticker symbol ADA. And let's check out the market cap for that one. Scrolling up a little bit to rank number 10, below Dogecoin, believe it or not. It's about $25 billion market cap. I'm imagining came down over the past week, and it did. And let's check out the price of Cardano. US dollar on Coinbase. And we can see the closing price from yesterday was below the 200-day moving average. And that closing price was $71.39, not dollars, cents, $71.39. So $71.39 came down. Looks like I am still up though a little bit, 3%. I think my average last week was 68 cents. Nope, 69. So I feel good about that. Feel good about it both weeks. 69 cents. I did have a dip buy order filled, $7, and that dip buy order was filled at 77 cents. Currently price is, around 71 cents, right around there. And this Fibonacci retracement is based on, the high up here. So the next level down, did it say 70? What did I say? 77 was, the 382. Maybe this goes a little bit lower. And maybe, this could be corresponding with, 67, round that up to 68, and that would then be getting my average down. So, I think at this point, I did buy last week. I did get my average up. So maybe I want to be a little bit more disciplined, but maybe it doesn't get all the way to the 618 at sub 68 cents, but above 67 cents. So I think 68 cents would be potentially a good level to add. Be happy about that, getting my average down, chilling, So I think that's fine. Looking for a dip. It's already dipped beyond, the 382. So maybe I wait for that 68 cents. And then the trim level, probably just going to be the same at $1. I'm not sure if I trimmed up here. I can't remember. But the next level, would be $1. That's just psychological level. What was the high that we hit over here on July 21st? The high was 93.5 cents. $1. Where does that come from, though? Maybe we do a Fibonacci extension. Low here, high here, and then pull back to this. Where would that be putting? It's like 110. But yeah, the 1618 up there is at like 107. So like $1 would get filled. It's just a trim. It's not a huge trim, but I can leave that alone. I do need to do the addition though, so I need to adjust that. And then the next one on the list is going to be Pepe, ticker symbol PEPE. And we can see that the market cap for Pepe, ranked number 28, is about 4.3 billion. Oops, I don't think I copied that. $4.3 billion. And so I'll just paste that right here. Did come down over the past week, as I'm sure we are not surprised. And Pepe, let's see, US dollar on Coinbase right there. And so we can see pulled back to around the 200-day moving average. Maybe it dips a little bit lower, maybe it doesn't, but we do see the close from yesterday on August 1st at 401037. So a 401037. Down 31%. Let's see, what was I down last week? I was down 17%. And so, yeah, I'm going to need to do a dip buy on this. And my dip buy for last week on Pepe was 4 zeros and 11. We are now at basically around there, 4 zeros and, 1024. That's where it's currently at. But I think that, the next level down, do I have this marked up to the top there? Yep. I mean, the next level down from this Fibonacci retracement, which we've already come down here, would be, like 4 zeros, or is that 5? Yeah, 4 zeros and a 1. I'm going to round this up. So 4 zeros and a 1. That's the dip buy level. I'm going to say for Pepe, 4 zeros and a 1. There we go. And then what's the trim level, though? Is it still going to be 4 zeros and a 1.9? So this is going to be based on, still that low from over here. If we break that, then this will kind of be invalidated. I need to reassess it. But maybe we get caught by that 200-day moving average, start to go higher. 19, 4 zeros and 19. Seems good to me. So I'm going to leave that one. But this one, I need to place that. So we'll have to do that. And then now we can go on to the next one on the list, which is the official Trump coin, ticker symbol TRUMP. And so let's check out the market cap for Trump coin. And that is going to be ranked number 77. And the market cap is below $1 trillion. And let's see, 917 billion. Million. Sorry, below $1 trillion, below $1 billion. So it's 918 million. Trillion. Why do I always... it's because I start with Bitcoin at the top, and then it's just like, well, then trillions in my head. Nope, it's billion. Okay, and let's check out the price of Trump coin on Coinbase US dollar. Wow, we have come back. We have revisited the lows, basically. But yeah, let's think about, the closing price from Friday, August 1st. That was 872. 872. Down 28%. So I'm actually doing better on Trump than I am on Pepe. And, what was the dip buy level? That was $9.69. I think that's an example of, don't have too much fun with that 69, but that was the level here. Because then I would have just gone to 908. Currently at 860. I mean, to be honest, I think that, maybe I want to do a trend line over here. Going from the lows, consolidation lows. I think that's right around the bottom. I don't know. I mean, this is not a perfect line. Maybe I want to do it like that. So it intersects with the low from April 17th. I don't know. Maybe it's breaking. Maybe it's not. But yeah, what's that green line at? 867. Wait, no, 871. Maybe I do 869. Just $1 lower than I did last week. So I think that's fine. I think that's fun. Got to have fun. If we're not having fun, then we're doing this wrong. And so I'll make that yellow because I need to place that order. 17 bucks, is that still the level to the upside that I'm thinking? Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, this was launched up here. Trump had the, little party in DC when this got announced. I don't think he just like did that to rug everybody there. It's probably going to be going higher than where it was here, 43, 44 bucks. So I think it's probably going back there, but just to like manage risk and whatnot. To trim at like 17, sure. So I think that's fine. I'll just leave that. And let's see, the next one on the list is then going to be Aave, ticker symbol AAVE. And let's check out the market cap for Aave, ranked to number 30, $3.8 billion. Did come down over the past week, which I'm sure we are not surprised by. And we can see Aave US dollar on Coinbase. So is this Fibonacci retracement still good? Yep, still up with the tops here. And the closing price from yesterday, August 1st, was $255.24. So $255.24. Down 6%. Ooh, I need to make this yellow. I need to place those orders. And so my dip buy level for Aave was 255, currently right around there. But I think it could go a little bit lower. Where do I think it could go to? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, my words there. Where do I think it could go to? The 200-day moving average. That's around 235.95. And so, I mean, because it's trading now around 251.25, so it's a little bit below where I placed it before. But yeah, let's see. 235.95. So it'll be like 236. Maybe I round that up to the next dollar just as far as spread goes. So 237. Or maybe I could do, to have fun with it, I am rounding up to consider spread, but maybe round that down a little bit to be a little bit conservative, make it, and also to have fun. $236.90. So I will do that here. $236.90, because you gotta have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And then the trim level, 380. It's been there for a while. 380. Yeah, I mean, the top's over here. I'm not going to change that. And maybe I should have trimmed at 330, 328 when I was consolidating here. I didn't, though. And so I'm then just going to wait. Oh, actually, maybe it, goes back up to 238. What's my average? Or sorry, 330, whatever. I'm talking all over the place. I mean, but I want more Aave. I have more, I do feel good about that. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave that trim level. It's fine. It's less work for me to not adjust. So I can just leave that alone. And we can move on to the next one on the list, which is going to be Chainlink, ticker symbol LINK. So the market cap for Chainlink is going to be ranked number 14 as far as market cap goes. $10.7 billion market cap. And we can paste that over here. Did come down over the past week, which we are not surprised by. And US dollar. I don't want this on Coinbase, though. Okay, I don't need the doodle. Did break below it. We are testing. We are below the 200-day moving average right now, but yesterday we closed right around the 200-day moving average. August 1st, Friday, closing at a price of 16.065. So 16.065. I'm down 14% on Link. I am going to need to place a buy order for this. And where do I think I should be placing the buy order? So I did have the buy order at $17. We did go below, currently right around the 200-day moving average, right around 16. But maybe we go a little bit lower, like to the 15% retracement, which would be around 15.20, but maybe we don't get there. I am red on this. Maybe I could be a little bit more aggressive with this one. So, I feel like, how do I do this? $16, that would probably get filled right away. I want to dip. So maybe what I want to do is, and that would still be above this 50%, maybe I do 15.69. So a little bit lower than where it's at. But yeah, what did I say? 15.69. Gotta have fun. So doing that. And then the trim level though, 23. How do I get that? That is based on this Fibonacci extension. So the April lows up to the May highs, down to the June lows. And then that 618 puts it at 23. But maybe there's another way for me to get that level. And so maybe I actually want to move this to, where we kind of topped out over here. Because that was suggesting like that 100% was a good level to, be trimming at, But then 23 maybe to the upside, but maybe there's another way we can get that by doing a Fibonacci retracement extension. Fibonacci extension from the low here to the high. And then let's say down to that 50%. It's around 24, but yeah, I could still see 23. That'd be a fine level to trim at. Maybe we spend multiple weeks up there. Could trim again at like 24. 23, I think that's fine for Chainlink. And that's, yep, okay. And so the next one on the list is going to be Uniswap, ticker symbol UNI. And so Uniswap, checking out the market cap. It's going to be ranked at number 23, $5.57 billion market cap. And that did come down over the past week. Uni in Coinbase, US dollar. So over here, the closing price from August 1st, 9034. 9034. That's 11% to the downside is where I'm at. I'm a little bit negative, down 11%. And my average looks like it's at 1014. Do need to place a buy order. Where do I think it could be pulling back to? 200-day moving average maybe. That would be around 770, 771, 72. I don't know. But yeah, this Fibonacci retracement here. We have pulled back to the 382. Maybe it comes down to the 50% and doesn't quite get to the 200-day moving average. And so the 50% would be down to like $8.13. But maybe it doesn't get all the way there. What's a way for us to round that up and have a little bit of fun? It's stupid, but, I could do like 8.69, but that's pretty close to getting filled right now. So, I'd probably do 8.42, $8.420, right there. So, got that. And then the trim level, I need to think about that. Currently have it at 1250. 12, yeah, that corresponds, with this over here. But again, that 100%, that was a level to be trimming at. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself with let's see, with the 1618s, and maybe I should just consider, let's see, the, what am I thinking? Maybe I should just consider the 100%, but from this low following that pullback, which was a higher low. We've been putting in higher lows. And so, yeah, I'm just going to do this. And then let's say if it does pull back to the 50%, that could be putting price up to almost $14. But let's say, $12.50. I think it's fine for me to leave that. And so now let's move on to the next one on the list, which is going to be Avalanche, ticker symbol AVAX. And let's check out the market cap for Avalanche. It is ranked number 17, almost $9 billion market cap. Let's see the price. Let's see for Avalanche. I want this US dollars on Coinbase, and we can see here, I do need to move this Fibonacci retracement up a little bit, but before I get ahead of myself, I need to get the closing price from yesterday, August 1st, which was below the 200-day moving average, and that was at a price of $21.52. All right, so down about 4%, so maybe there's a level where I could be adding to be getting my average down, as I did add as well as trim last week. I trimmed at 27, feel good about that. And then I, bought at 22. We are currently at 2097, so maybe it does go a little bit lower. Like to the 618, which is about 213. But again, maybe it doesn't get all the way there. So maybe 2013. So maybe I'd want to make that be like 20.42. So I'm going to say over here, 20.42. And I can make that yellow. I need to also be placing a new trim level. Maybe I want to do 27 again. Maybe I'll just do 27 again. I think that's probably fine. That was trimming last week, pretty much at the start of the week. What was my average at there? I was up about Avalanche, up about 7%, nothing crazy. But if I am buying dips, maybe I just, leave that. But I think I will need to place another trim order at around 27. But maybe there's another level that this could be going to. And so I'm just going to adjust this to include the 1618, just out of curiosity, maybe like 35. And actually, yeah, I should probably adjust that to like 35. But maybe there's something maybe a little bit more conservative, like doing the retracement from here. And also, though, one thing I should note is I think it's good that I trimmed at 27 rather than 27.71, which is marked here, because the high on July 28th was 27.39. Didn't get to that level, but it did pierce. I did get a fill at 27, so I do feel good about that. But yeah, let's say it comes down to like the 618. That would put a price target at like 32, rather than 35. So maybe that's a little bit more reasonable, or maybe like 31. Again, not being greedy, wanting it to get to that level. So I'm going to make this be $31. I think that's good for Avalanche. And then the next one on the list is going to be XRP, ticker symbol XRP. Let's check out the market cap. I believe it's number 4, but on this list it might be ranked as number 3 because I guess it's not including USDT or Tether. Ranked number 3 here with these coins, or at least not including stable coins. And the market cap is $167 billion. Pasting that over here. And did come down over the past week, as we are non-surprised. XRP. Let's see, XRP US dollar on Coinbase. And so we got the Fibonacci retracement. Yep, going up to the high there. Not yet to the 200-day moving average, so maybe it's got a little bit more to go to the downside. But the close from Friday, August 1st, was at 295.96. So 295.96. Looks like I'm up 26% on that, so feeling good about that. So maybe I could be a little bit more conservative. I did buy, really just before starting this video. But, maybe, what is the level that I could see this coming down to? Which is increasing my average, but maybe it does come down a little bit more. Something that I like a lot about this chart right here is the 50% retracement. That's around 264, 26427. So it's like there's a 420 in there. But that corresponds with like the tops over here. So I kind of like that. Could potentially be acting as support. And, as prices above the 200-day moving average, maybe the 200-day moving average does drift towards that, or at least doesn't, lead to a pullback to the 618 around 240. So like 264. Maybe I round that up. Yeah, it's like 282 right now, 281.86. So yeah, 265. Would I still be in the green? What's my 265? I'd still be increasing my average, but XRP is so low on the list here as far as the risk goes. I think I probably should do, like 265. And also like the spread is apparently really bad because I think it was trading at like, let's see, just to show you, I had oops, Ed's in the way. Sorry about that. I did have my order at 290. It didn't get filled until like price was at like 288. So I think good to kind of round up on these. And then, the trim level, I do have that marked as 369. This is one. The spread is bad for XRP. Because, we had a pierce here, July 18th, 366. And so even if I had an order at 366, I wouldn't have been filled. So maybe I should adjust that down to, no, because I don't have that much XRP. I have trimmed previously. And so I should probably just leave it at 369. And then, we could see where it would be going. Because, yeah, I think I did trim over here at all-time highs, I think. But yeah, 369. I'm just going to leave that. Got to have some fun with it. And yeah, and then so the next one on the list is going to be Stellar Lumens XL, ticker symbol XLM. And so let's check out the market cap for that one. Ranked at number 13. And that's going to be $11.4 billion. And the current price for XLM. Coinbase, Stellar Lumens, US dollar. Or closing price, I should say, from Friday, August 1st, was at 381972. So 381972. It looks like I'm up 6% on that. And so, I've been trimming, pretty aggressively. It's at the very bottom of this, basically. Let's see. Where did I add? At 41 cents. Where's it currently trading at? At like 36, sub 37 cents, which corresponds with the 50% here. And that is based on, going all the way up to the top here. Maybe it comes down to the 618, which is like 33.3 cents. Maybe I round that up to like, what's my average? 36. Maybe I round that up to 35 so I get my average down, but I'm still being, fairly aggressive because it could be coming down to 33. So I will place this at 35. And got that there. What's the trim level? I have trimmed it kind of previously in the past. 56 cents is where I was saying it could be going. And that, the top over here. Top over here, didn't quite get that. Oh, that's the 161. Ooh, no, that's the 2618. So maybe I need to do another. I gotta drag this over. That was a trim level right there. 44 cents somewhere, 43, whatever it was. And so now that we're pulling back, because either way, from here, the bottom here, to the top, that distance is not going to be changed, whether I move it to a new low or a lower low, or if we go up to here, if I do it down a little bit more, That's just going to lower it. So make it a little bit more conservative. So even if we don't pull back to the 618, this would be a more conservative level. Maybe the 200-day moving average. No, but yeah, I'll do the 200-day moving average. Why not? And so the 200-day moving average, that would put the at 61 cents. So yeah, I mean, I think that 56 cents, that's fine. I can just leave that. That is good. And now the next one on the list, this is one I'm pretty excited about, Pudgy Penguins. I just kind of recognize, I mean, it's gone on a huge rampage recently, so I'm definitely going to be in the red for a little while, I imagine. But I just did $7, I was just doing a $1 dip buy at levels as it was coming down. I just accumulated up to $7 worth. And yeah, let's check out the market cap of Pudgy Penguins. I believe I added it. Pudgy Penguins ranked number 43. I just think it's like brilliant marketing, a brilliant example of, you know, how cryptocurrencies can be more than just coins that live in the digital space. It's a brand. And so I think that like Pudgy Penguins has done a great job with that. The only reason why it's up is because I didn't have it on there last week, but really it would be down. And so let's check out the price of Pudgy Penguins, ticker symbol PENGU, spelling out penguins. And so Pudgy Penguins US dollar on Coinbase. And we do have the closing price from yesterday, August 1st at 3.424 cents. So 0.03424 cents. I'm down 12%. My average is 3.9 cents. I'm going to need to do some sort of, whether it's a dip buy or just dollar cost averaging, I'm going to assess that. And I will, you know, do that over here so we can get an idea. Shift cells down. This is going to be PENGU. You know, what are the levels, though? I need to think about them. Although, I don't know that, I mean, maybe I guess I'd trim a little bit. But probably just $1 because it's so small. Yeah, but let's see. I mean, because this has just been on a rampage over here. In April, at the lows, it was at 0.4 cents. From there, you know, I wasn't paying attention to it because I was just trying to, you know, keep my head straight with the other positions and stuff. This went up over 1,000%, currently up about 750%. Where could I see it pulling back to? So we could do some Fibonacci retracements. There are a couple of them that we could do. You know, I could do it from the all-time low up to what is now, you know, going to be the all-time high. And that'd be suggesting like 3 cents, somewhere around there. I think that could be a fine dip buy level. I could also do another Fibonacci retracement, but going from the lows here up to those highs. And that would, you know, 32 cents. But I think I could be a little bit more conservative with these buys. So yeah, I mean, it's more conservative to look at the bigger picture. Oops, wait, I didn't do that. I guess I accidentally deleted it by hitting that key. But yeah, I mean, 3 cents. I think is probably a fine dip buy level. A lot of consolidation there. I think that could be acting as support. But I think it could also, you know, come down to like 2.5 cents, the 50% retracement, maybe even coming down to the highs here at like 1.6 cents. But it's fine. It's a small position. No big deal. Oh, and so there we go. So I'll just do it. 3 cents. What would be a trim level that this could go to? And so I would say, you know, we got to move up here. This is actually kind of interesting. And do a Fibonacci extension. So from the lows here up to the highs and then down here. Just out of curiosity, I'm just going to add the 2618. Nope, not even showing up there. Oh, yep. Oh, that was the top. That's cool. So I'm actually leave that because that's neat. But yeah, so there's that. But now let's see, if this does pull down to, like I'm saying, at least the 50%, maybe it comes down to the 618. That's around 2 cents rather than 2.5 cents. So if I do a Fibonacci extension from the low here up to the high, and then it pulls back down to here, what's that 100%? It's going to be an all-time high. 5 cents? 5.8 cents? 5 cents. Let's just do 5 cents. I think 5 cents is a trim level. But, I mean, really, yeah. But maybe that's being greedy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I'm scrolling up so high. So 5 cents. I think I should be more conservative. Maybe this comes down to the 786. That'd be, yeah, around 5 cents. Still, Okay, so 5 cents is the trim for PENGU. All right, and that would just be a dollar trim, nothing crazy. And so, yep. And then now the final one here, the one that I do not hold, is Fartcoin. I had almost bought it around 84 cents after it had touched 80 cents. I didn't. Maybe we're going to be revisiting 80 cents soon. So that'll be interesting. I just think it's not a shit coin, it's a fart coin. If it squeezes hard, then it becomes a shark coin. It's still not even, I mean, I guess technically it would be a shit coin then. But yeah, the market cap. So let's check out the market cap of Fartcoin, ranked at number 77 at a market cap of $894 million. $894 million. $895 million, I guess. And the current price for Fartcoin, this one I think I got to look at Kraken. US dollar on Kraken. And so what was the closing price from yesterday? August 1st, the closing price was 91.36 cents. So 91.36 cents. Glad I didn't buy at 84 cents. And like over here, that's like right exactly at 84 cents. Kind of crazy. 84.08. Going up to the highs, that would have been basically 100% move. I wouldn't have sold, and then I'd be back down here at like 5.6% up. So, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. But yeah, 80 cents. Maybe we actually even pull back more to like 77. So yeah, 80 cents just to have fun. I would not buy it more than once, just to have fun. Because, I mean, people talk about it. And it's just funny. It's Fartcoin. It's not a shit coin. So I think people will be talking about it for a while. So I think it's funny. I wish their like logo or whatever, their icon was a little more fun. But yeah, I'm going to stick to what I have, 80 cents. That's one that I think I would buy at this point because I think it's funny. And trim, yeah, $4.20. Could I see it getting there? I don't know, but that's just funny. I'm doing it because it's funny, not because it's a good investment, because it's funny. And so I think I need to place some alerts for that. And the order, I can't place an order on it. So I'm going to need to, I would need to do that if it goes down there. So yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the overview of the week. I think I need to put this down here. Maybe I'd buy that. That did come down. Well, actually, maybe I should do it as orange. Like I should probably do Ondo before I do Fartcoin. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one that I should for sure consider. And then let's look at the P&L, how things gone. You know, things were looking great last week. Still, a lot of things are positive. I'm up 23% on my Bitcoin position, but it's actually all this stuff is probably down a little bit more than what it's here from because they're down from the close of yesterday. But Bitcoin up 23%, Doge up 16%, Ethereum up 52%. That's the one that I got the thesis on, so I feel good about that. Then I also have, I'm going to get Ed out of the way for this. Then I also have RLC down 44%, so it's down 34%, now down 44%. But still trying to buy the dip and stuff. Ethereum Classic now negative, was at 5%, now down 9%. Ondo at break even. And then a lot of these down here, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can just see some of them are up, which would be Litecoin, Solana, Stellar, Lumens XLM. And then I'm also up on XRP. But then looking at the ones that I'm negative on, Pepe, Aave, Cardano, it looks like I'm up 3% on. It's just kind of hard to read. But then continuing on what I'm down on, like I said, Aave, Avalanche, Chainlink, Loopring, Trump, and Uniswap. But I still think that we're probably going to see, a bull market continue into the end of the year, at least around Thanksgiving. Might be the top. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I can't be buying the dip, but I can be. And so I'm going to still be trying to do that, be taking advantage of this. And, this is something I'm going to be doing through the end of the year. Weekly Crypto Corner Sat Stackers every Saturday, going over my thoughts, my positions, or at least my averages, levels I'm intrigued by. And yeah, I do hope that this was helpful for you guys. But, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Crypto Corner Sat Stackers and other videos, content like this. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care, you guys.